Hi guys, welcome to another Teach to Code with Professor V. So today we're going to practice our Linux administration again. To kind of recap, we went ahead and built the test1 directory with the mkdir command. We learned about changing directories, so if you forgot, that's the cd. And then we also learned about, well, let me go ahead and list the files. So inside of this directory, when we change, we use the touch command to create these files. So now what I want to practice is, what if we want to remove one of these files, right? We don't always keep files on our system, so if we need to remove one of the files, what we could do is the rm command. And I want to go ahead and do a manual of this. So the rm command is used to remove files or directories. And as usual, you're going to use the command, what option, and then what do you want to modify. So in this case, it'll be the file or the directory. So if we want to move a directory with this, we're going to need a -r or a -d. So -d will only remove empty directories. -r in this instance will remove directories and their content recursively. So if we have something inside of the directory, we're going to have to use a -r. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Q to quit. I'm going to go ahead and clear the screen. I'm going to ls one more time to remember what files we have in here. And let's go ahead and remove the one file. So rm, and which file do we want to do? 1. So now if I ls, you're going to notice the output changed just a little bit, right? The output doesn't have 1 like it used to, so the 1 file is now gone. We can rm and do test1, and if we ls again, you're going to notice now there's only 4 files within this directory. So if we keep moving forward, now I want to try to go ahead and remove the directory. So let's go ahead and cd. Let's take one step back with the double dots. So now if I print my walking directory, I should be back at /home/ whatever username I am. So in my instance, it's mvaledio. Now of course your username is going to be different, but you're still within the home directory, hopefully. So, with all that being said, let's go ahead and clear the screen one more time. Let's go ahead and ls. So we have the test1 directory there. So what I want to do is rm-d and test1. So if I use the -d option, it's going to not allow it because it cannot remove it. The directory is not empty. So the way to get around this is we use the -r to remove it recursively. Let me go ahead and move my cursor there. So if we use the -r command with this directory, you're going to notice it doesn't give me an error. So now if I ls, the test1 directory is now gone. And that's exactly what we want. So a couple more commands we're going to explore today are the concatenate command. So let's go ahead and do a manual of this real quick. So it concatenates files and prints on the standard output. So just like programming, it concatenates, probably does some parsing in the background, and is able to make integers into text and whatnot, into strings. So we have all these other options that we can use, but we're probably not going to use many of them. The -n is nice because it'll give you the number of the output line, so we'll go ahead and probably try that actually. Go ahead and give that a little bit on my notes here. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and hit Q to quit, and I'm going to go ahead and do a clear real quick. And now what I want to do is use, so there's a couple ways we could do this. I like to use LeafPad myself. I'm just going to say, this file, no space, .txt. So I'm not sure if you guys have LeafPad on yours. If you need to look for what text editors you have, usually it's under accessories. Now we always have VIM, but VIM is a little bit trickier to use in my experience. So I don't want to throw VIM at you guys just yet. That's probably a whole video in itself. Alright, so now what I went ahead and did is I googled text for a file. And maybe I could put this in the description. I'll try to look for it. So the URL is https www.w3.org. And the rest of it's going to be /tr capital /png capital /ISO 8859-1.txt. So that's a lot, but I just wanted to steal some text from a file. So I'm going to just go ahead and highlight all this text. I'm going to go ahead and copy it, and then I'm going to go ahead and paste it within my file here. So this file.txt now has some text in it. I'm going to go ahead and file and save. So now I'm going to go ahead and close the leaf pad, and I'm going to go ahead and go back to the terminal, and now I want to ls. So now we have this file within all these directories, and the way I know it's a file is because it's green. All my directories in Fedora come out blue, and it's probably true for a lot of Linux versions. It just depends what the actual kernel that's built upon is. So anyway, so now I want to go ahead and do concatenate this file.txt, and you're going to go ahead and see that all the text that I copied within that file is displayed. And if we're ever doing like log files, one thing I could tell you is the log files end up getting really big. We'll explore the log files later too. So I'm going to go ahead and do a clear. And now what I want to explore is, so let's go ahead and do a -n. Let's go ahead and add a -n to this. So the -n, it's going to push everything a little to the right, but it also tells me my lines. So this is line 1, this is line 2, right? Don't get confused with the hex descriptions that they're using here. They also have their own number systems within the file. So now what I want to do is go ahead and let's do a clear command again. And I want to do the head and the tail command. So if I do man head, let's go ahead and take a look at this. So it outputs the first part of the file. So the default is to print the first 10 lines of each file to standard output. So head is a nice command, you know, maybe we're looking for something at the beginning of the file for whatever reason. I could think of millions of reasons why we would need to, right? And if I'm not mistaken, there's the -n command, so we could also iterate how many lines we want to do. So let's go ahead and do the Q to quit. And now we're going to go ahead and head this file.txt. And now it just shows the first 10 lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yes, the spaces count as a line. It's a computer, it's got to count the space. So now let's say we wanted the first 20 lines. Let me go ahead and clear again. So we could do head -n, and we could do 20, this file.txt, and now we're going to get the first 20 lines, so a little bit longer. So now I'm going to go ahead and clear again, and we're going to practice the tail command. So let's go ahead and man the tail. Let's find the manual. And this outputs the last part of the file. So it prints the last 10 lines of each file. And lo and behold, it's just like the head command. You could use the -n to tell it how many number of lines you want to print out. So 10 is the default, but if we desire to do anything else, we can. So let's just go ahead and do tail this file.txt, and now we have the last 10 of this file. The last 10 lines, sorry. So if I go ahead and hit clear again, we're going to go ahead and do tail. Let's do a -n and do 20. Oh, I didn't iterate what file I wanted to do. I confused it. So this file .txt, and now we have the last 20 lines of it. And the tail command is really helpful because if we have this log file, and if you don't know what a log file is, it basically is keeping track of either a service, or it's keeping track of the whole operating system and what's happening within it. Usually the sys log file is the main file for logs, but since I'm running Fedora, I actually have an instance where I'm running journal CTL, so that's a whole nother video to explain in itself. But just to kind of recap and keep this video short, the rm command will remove files. The concatenation will show you the whole file, right? The more command, I guess I should have put a space there because I don't like how it's pushing me over to the right, but it might prompt anyway. And the head command will show us the first 10 of our file, first lines, right? The tail will show us the last 10 of our file, which is nice if the file is super big and we're trying to look for some error that just happened, right? Some error that is giving us trouble and our kernel is, in distress, because that's kind of the fun part about Linux. You'll either find that it's really tedious and it's like, oh my god, something broke, or oh man, I'm trying to run Steam on this computer, I'm trying to get the codecs running a certain video type that's on YouTube to run more smoother, or Netflix, so Linux is a fun for me because it doesn't always work right away. There's some times where you have to spend an hour trying to figure out what the heck is mismatching and how do I get this to work for me. So it's just like programming. It presents a problem, and there's a lot of forums and communities out there that you can reach out to, because Linux is open source, right? It's not a closed source like Windows. Open source means that anybody can work on it. Anybody can develop their own Linux. I don't know exactly how much you need to change in order for the kernel to be your own, but we have Ubuntu, we have Mint, we have so many different versions. Fedora. There's the Raspberry Pi one now. So anyways, I just want to go ahead and leave you guys with this. If there's any questions or concerns about it, please let me know in the comments. Give my video a like if this has been helpful, so I know to keep making these types of videos. Other than that, you guys have a great day. Thank you guys for allowing me to make these videos. I hope I am helping somebody out and helping you move forward. So you guys have an awesome day, and I will see you in the next video.